What it is, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this afternoon edition of Lift the Veil, the TV show. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. That's your real host, the host of hosts. Is that blasphemous? Doshi, producer extraordinaire, mind controller. I have news today. It's good I waited because the news always develops. This morning, the news was Uranium One, so I'll talk about that, but it's not going to be the lead story. The lead story I'm told is the stock market. You know, I asked around, and it's down over 1,000 points again today. The beginning of the financial meltdown, perhaps. I might talk a little bit about Bitcoin as well. Did I say thanks for joining me? I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to talk about, maybe I'll get into some nerding out about the stock market, possibly if I feel like I can do it without doing your head in. And then the uranium one, which I mentioned, and then the government shutdown. That might actually be the biggest news. So there are big news stories, and then maybe a little bit of Bitcoin too. So I'm going to cover all that on this show. I'm going to start out with something unexpected, and you'll just have to let me play it because it's a good clip. And that's going to be Rose McGowan of Me Too fame. Hashtag Me Too. She's leading the movement. She's a little nuts. She's a little nuts. If I can give away the ending of where you're going to be thinking after you see this video. Let me do this first since I've been doing it. I'm wearing my other merchandise today. I sell merchandise. I don't know if people are into that or not, but it's actually really cool. And right now my new website is truthclothing.io. That one right there. Looks like this. I have this Russian bot shirt. I thought everybody would be into it. And people are into it. Russian bot. And then I have all this other stuff too. Stickers. I mean, the shipping's really cheap now. It's really good stuff. The Russian bot shirt's great. I'm going to refer you there to support the show and to keep this kind of programming on the air. Now, let me play you some video. In case you haven't seen it already, I think it's worth seeing. Okay, here's where it's going to be. Rose McGowan, who claims she was raped by Harvey Weinstein, is on a book tour right now. This was at a Barnes & Noble. She's being heckled by a trans woman, which means it's a man. I can't figure it out. A trans woman heckling her a little bit at this book signing. She's already written a book. She's already on a book tour, and she's leading this thing, kind of. I'm sure a lot of people aren't that happy about her being the public face of this thing, especially after stuff like this. Let me play that. I'll play my intro, and then we'll tell you the news of the day, the news of the hour.
This is the AIDS crisis all over again, and this is white, cis, feminism.
Shut up. You're so boring.
White, cis, feminism.
Don't label me, sister. Don't put your labels on me. Don't you fucking do that.
Don't worry about her.
Do not put your label on me. I don't come from your planet. Leave me alone. I do not subscribe to your rules. I do not subscribe to your language. You do not put labels on me or anybody. Step the fuck back. What I do is for the fuck. Do not put labels on me or anybody. Step the fuck back. What I do is for the fucking world, and you should be fucking grateful. So shut the fuck up. Get off my back. What have you done? Because I know what I've done. God damn it. I'm not worried. I'm fucking mad at the lies. I'm mad at the stereotypes. I'm mad that you put shit on me because I have a fucking vagina and I'm white or I'm black or I'm yellow or I'm purple. Fuck off. All of us want to say it. I just do. God damn.
Sorry, I didn't warn you about the language. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. Oops. Damn right I do. The news today is the stock market crash. If for those of you who tuned in late and just caught the end of that rant by that thing on stage, that was Rose McGowan, ladies and gentlemen, head of the Me Too movement, or sort of a de facto head of the Me Too movement. I don't know if anybody's going to claim her anymore. And sorry I didn't warn you about the language. Normally we are more sensitive to that on this program. You want to see what happened today? For those of you who care, this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average daily chart. It goes back to May or June back here. And that's what it looks like, you know, how it went up. And then big crash right there. Down over 1,000 points. That last, what they call a candle, is the over 1,000 points. And let me show you this, 15 minutes. There you can see how it's been over the last few days since the beginning of February. And you see this last bar right here, they call it a candle on these charts. It's like 500 points. The last 30 minutes or so of today, the thing dropped 500 points. I'll show you an hour chart. It's for all the people who are into their chart porn. It dropped about 500 points in the last hour of trading. Boy, will I be able to explain this to you guys. Well, let me compare it first to Bitcoin, which also has crashed, some would say lately. Just kind of compare and contrast. Now, that is your chart for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Like I said, since about May or June. This is the chart for the Bitcoin Industrial Average. No, it's just the price of Bitcoin. And this is from about February or March through current time. Let me show you again. This is this. Bitcoin is on a much higher scale. So it went up way more percentage-wise, and then came down way more percentage-wise. But there are some strange similarities. And just to give you an idea of how drastic the drop in the Dow has been, we'll compare it to Bitcoin. So everybody says it's the end of the world, Bitcoin, right? It's down like 60% from a high of around 20,000. It's trading near 8,000 right now, right around there, from a high of almost 20,000. So it's down over 50%. Everybody can do that math. The Dow Jones, by comparison, and the other markets are down about 10% into what they call a correction. When it's correction, meaning the prices correct downwards, usually, to closer to the mean reversion sort of correction, as opposed to a bear market, which happens when you go 20% down from the highs. So we're learning a little bit about economics today for everybody, so you can talk to people about what's going on. Well, this thing in Bitcoin has been developing over some time. This thing with Bitcoin started around Christmas time. That's around when the market peaked, and has gone all the way until now, mostly down the whole way until it just has been coming up a little bit recently. Mostly down the whole way over months. And right now, the price at about 8,000 is where it was around Thanksgiving. So right now we're back to where prices were around Thanksgiving. Does that make sense to everybody? So even though it went up a lot, it went down a lot. If you bought Bitcoin before Thanksgiving, a couple months ago, then you're just about even. Or if you bought sooner than that, then you're still in the black, they would say. Some people would say green. You'd be in the money if you bought it before Thanksgiving of last year still. The Dow Jones, on the other hand, in a matter of days, not over months, since the beginning of February, has dropped to levels last seen at the end of November. November 29th, I believe this is. Yes, November 29th. In a matter of days, it dropped to that level. So that gives you an idea about how precipitous the decline has been. And on the news, they're saying, oh, it's just a normal correction. The markets were overheated, yada, yada, yada. The stock market's been going up forever, ever since the financial market crash, mostly because it's fake money printed by central banks. They bought bonds, they bought stocks, and now they're gonna slow down. And this market has been on crack or heroin and been riding the high this whole time. And the dealer is about to take some of the crack away is what's going on. And the inflation of every asset class, which isn't counted in measured inflation, is suddenly a concern. And that concern has something to do with the government shutdown as well, at least the budget agreement they agreed to. The reason stocks started to crash was that interest rates are going up. And interest rates are going up because wages have gone up and because of the tax cuts. Because there was already all this money pumped into the system, which was inflating your rent, your house, housing prices, pretty much every asset, classic cars, even art, except it wasn't really affecting what happened when you go to the grocery store and you buy milk and eggs and stuff. It wasn't really hitting that level. Now, because of tax cuts, people got a bunch of bonuses, wages going up, low unemployment, all this extra spending, like on the tax cuts, 1.5 trillion, of now is going to make prices go up. And that means that yields on bonds, I don't even know how all this stuff works, but they go up. When inflation is expected to go up, percentage rate yields on bonds go up also. And that was the reason for the first crash, is higher interest rates, not from the Fed, but from the markets. The reason interest rates have been so low, which is the crack that drives these markets, is the low interest rates and the free money. The reason they were low is that when you buy bonds, the interest rate goes down, and the central banks agreed to just buy bonds relentlessly, kept the interest rate down. Now they're slowing down, and people are expecting inflation. Okay, and that has to do with the budget thing that now is in danger of shutting down the government again, really, really soon. It's 5 p.m. Pacific time. Within 4 hours, the government will be shut down. I predict. Based on the news I'm going to show you, based on my research, because of Rand Paul, because of one brave man. Well, and it might not have needed him for the government not to be shut down. Did you guys get a little bit of crash course in the economy? And then I told you about VIX, volatility. That's the other big deal. But read Zero Hedge. Try to just read the articles and see if you can figure out how this stuff works. There are a lot of investment strategies that are fucked right now, and they're going to unwind for a while. Like, it's not a good time to buy stocks, from what I understand. people are saying it's the end of the world. It really might be the beginning of the end. And think about all the damn news. How do I even keep up with there being so much? The Uranium One story was supposed to be the big story. And before that, the text message story was kind of a big story too. Instead, the big story, government shutdown. So that's what we're moving on to right now. And then we'll talk about Uranium One. The reason the government is going to be shut down, and I'm going to go back and give you the reasons it was going to be shut down before this reason became the reason it was going to be shut down. I'll give you the backstory after this. It's like Pulp Fiction. Time jumps around. So I'm going to give you the story of why it's going to be shut down now. Basically, it's because the budget agreement that the Senate came up with, Mitch McConnell and not Nancy Pelosi, I guess Chuck Schumer, that they agreed to, they just said, hey, let's have a party. Let's just spend a lot of money and then everybody can agree on it. If we just give money to the more military spending than has even been requested, we'll go ahead and do that. And then since the Democrats said they need if they're going to agree to defense spending, well, then they want their spending too. So McConnell was like, oh, okay, well, no problem with the deficit right now. We already did the $1.5 trillion tax plan, which is going to add that to the deficit. We have a $1.5 trillion infrastructure plan in the works. And we're going to go ahead and raise the budget cap for everything, $300 billion. Then we're going to approve emergency aid for victims of the hurricanes, like $85 billion. And we don't have it. Budget deficit's going to be like $1 trillion next year. And interest rates are going up. This is the problem. I said it was like crack or heroin. I don't even know what to compare it to. Because without it, the whole thing falls apart. The whole house of cards falls apart because interest rates go up. We have like, I don't even know the debt number. I'm embarrassed to say 17 trillion, 20 trillion in debt. If interest rates go up, then the interest on that debt is higher, and we have to pay more every year to pay for the interest payments on the debt we've taken out. So, and that's going to go up. It can't help but do that. It's a mathematical certainty. They kept it in check for as long as possible, but shit is hitting the fan. I think, in my professional researcher opinion, but I've been wrong many, many times. I've said the end was near. The stock market's going to crash for a while. You can go back through my videos for a while. Been saying buy gold and silver for a while, way before crypto. Been saying buy crypto for a while, which is, I think, a hedge against the stock market. None of you guys own stocks. I don't even have to tell you to sell stocks. Maybe some people in a 401k, I would sell them for sure. I would have sold them a little while ago, though, too. A long while ago. And I would have missed out on a lot of gains, but... I'm saying shit's hitting the fan. I think so. We've been waiting for it. And I don't know how many people own stocks anymore besides, baby boomer and younger. I don't know that there are that many people that own stocks anymore. So this stock market crash will be different than the .com stock bubble crash, where regular Main Street investors were investing in stocks and real excited about it, and it kind of hit more people. This time it's mostly been companies buying back stock and institutions buying stock and banks buying stock, and then robo-traders. Most of the market is run by robo-traders right now. Algorithms, machines. I'm trying to get back to the budget agreement. Well, I think I'm just letting you know everything's connected. Part of the reason the stock market is crashing is because of the good financial news. So that, good news is bad news. The good financial news means more inflation, higher wages, and some people have been getting bonuses because of the tax cuts. And that means inflation goes up. And when inflation goes up, the Fed says they're going to raise rates. If inflation starts going too high, they're going to raise rates. And then when you raise rates, What did I say? Everybody's has a lot of debt, then interest payments go up, less money, can't borrow as much money, then all of a sudden you can't borrow money at all, and the whole thing goes boom. I mean, in my head, the way I see the economy, it's really crazy what's going to happen. And people say it's going to be worse than the Great Depression. It will be. It will be in many, many ways. I don't really know how it's going to shake out, but it's going to be really, really bad unless somehow magically cryptocurrency gets out there and everyone is magically protected from the destruction of everything they've saved. So we'll see. What do they say are good assets to have? Land, cryptocurrency, gold, silver. What else? What else is good besides real estate? I think that's where you have to have your money. That's safe. People say cryptocurrency isn't, but I think cryptocurrency is good. After the meeting, I'll maybe get into crypto at the end. I already touched on it a little bit. So that budget agreement, I explained what's wrong with it. And because of that, maybe I will do the backstory first. We'll see. Because of the spending, which was agreed to in the Senate, and we assume it has the votes to pass in the Senate. In the House, different story. In the House, it's a different story because they have this thing called the Freedom Caucus, which is the most conservative wing, which are anti-spending. That's the whole thing about being a Republican is you're not supposed to run deficits. You're supposed to be fiscally responsible. Instead, we're going to hear Rand Paul describe it. Rand Paul is the one guy who's holding this whole thing up, who's going to make the government shut down. Well, I mean, it didn't need to have him for sure because this Freedom Caucus was already going to be against the bill. And then on the other side, I'll show you. Let me show you articles. I will. In the Senate, McConnell agreed to Schumer that he would open floor debate for DACA. DACA isn't included in this. Oh, and also on the spending side, this raises the debt ceiling for 2 years, which fiscal hawks don't like. People like Rand Paul don't like that either. Can't run these big deficits, have to be fiscally responsible. So those people might have voted against the bill. And then Democrats, because there's nothing in there about DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals or something like that, the thing that lets dreamers stay here and get scholarships and citizenship, that isn't in the bill. And now Nancy Pelosi talked for 8 hours yesterday, basically saying that she needs Paul Ryan in the House to say that he'll open debate also and have a vote, basically, and have a vote for DACA, for immigration reform. It's not in the bill. Okay, that's why liberals were against it in the House. Okay? Did I explain everything to you? Paul Ryan says he won't call for a DACA vote unless Donald Trump tells him he can. So without Nancy Pelosi in there, this is in the House, okay? Without Nancy Pelosi's support, who knows if there would have been enough Democrats to pass the budget through the House. And that's what needs to happen. It needs to go through the House and Senate for the government to stay open. And 4 hours from now, it'll be shut down otherwise. Okay, that's the backstory. I gave you the backstory before the current story, which is Rand Paul, who now is being, let me see, I'll show you an article about it first. Here's from Politico. Rand's latest stand puts government on brink of shutdown. He's planning to do a type of filibuster. They have to, in order for them to put the vote on the floor of the Senate, they have to have every senator's approval. That one senator not approving of the vote will hold up the vote. And they begged for everyone to support it. And Rand Paul said, I have to put my foot down in regards to all this reckless spending. Let me play you a clip I pulled for you from YouTube. This is from Fox News Insider with Neil Cavuto. I'll play you a little bit of this.
And so I'm not advocating for shutting down the government. I'm also not advocating for keeping the damn thing open and borrowing $1 million a minute. This is reckless spending that is out of control. And, you know, the thing is we think when Democrats are in charge that the Republicans are the conservative party. The problem is when the Republicans are in charge, there's no conservative party. And that's kind of where we are now. Someone is to stand up and say, you should spend what comes in. We should balance our ledger. And that used to be what it meant to be conservative. But a lot of so-called conservatives lose their mind once it becomes a partisan thing. And they say, oh, we must govern now. So they govern by giving us massive new debt. And I don't think that's good for the country. I think ultimately it threatens our security, not only our external security, but also the internal foundation of the country is threatened by so large a debt.
You mentioned losing
Okay.
your mind with this, but the president could be losing his mind listening to you say this right now.
Maybe I'll play a little more.
In the way. Have you bounced this off of him?
I talked to him this afternoon, and we had a good conversation, and I told him to call up the majority leader, Senator McConnell, and tell him I wanted 15 minutes to have a vote to make a point that conservatives are unhappy with this deal. All they have to do, and I told him this at 11 o'clock this morning, give me 15 minutes to debate, 15 minutes to vote, and we could have been done by noon, but nobody wants to have it pointed out what an eyesore this deal is and how obnoxious it is to conservatives
Was
just
he
to
for
spend
what
good
you were
money
saying,
after
Senator?
bad.
Was the president for what you wanted to do?
I think the president wants a resolution, and I told him the best way to get to a resolution is let's get Senator McConnell involved, and let's say, why don't you give him a 15-minute vote?
Well,
Can
that
we not
hasn't
have
happened. Well, that hasn't happened, which lets Lindsay to believe that.
Okay. So he wants a vote on some kind of amendment. That's what he's going to be talking about. And he said 15 minutes because he's saying at the end that people would agree to the vote. So he's going to do a kind of filibuster tonight. And we don't know. He'll probably go through the deadline. He wants this vote. And then the future was already uncertain. So we'll have a government shutdown. On top of the stock market already, in free fall, basically. Now the stock market has to think about the effects of another government shutdown. Even though the first one didn't have that much effect on the markets or anything. I'm gonna look at futures right now and see how things are going. Oh my God, Remington is going to file for bankruptcy. How crazy is that? Anyway, I'm going to take a look at futures real quick, just tell you where stuff's at, because this is the news. The news is the government shutdown and the stock market. Okay, it's okay in after hours. So with the government shutdown on top of all the other news that they're having to digest in the stock market crash, we have a lot of uncertainty. Okay. So let me tell you about Uranium One. How about that? That was the big news until the stock market went down 1,000 points today, and until Rand Paul basically single-handedly scuttled the budget agreement. This was the big news, that an FBI informant on Uranium One breaks silence. This has been in the news for a while, and that doesn't mean this is old news, but they've been talking about this informant testifying for a while in the alternative media, and they've been telling his story. So the story isn't necessarily anything new to you, but it's this informant who is involved with the FBI, running in Russian nuclear circles, uranium circles, and he was infiltrated in there. Is that the right word for it? And he was used to get information about what these Russians were doing with, I'll tell you the two companies if I see it come up. The guy's name is William D. Campbell. He gave a bunch of information to the FBI before they approved the Uranium One deal. And that information included him saying that these Russians talked about giving money to the Clinton Foundation, basically for favorable treatment by Hillary Clinton as the head of state. He testified for 4 hours today. Now, here's the weird thing. Here, I'll tell you what it says here. He recounted numerous times that the Russians bragged that the Clintons' influence in the Obama administration would ensure approval for uranium-1, and he was right. Here we go. He had information that that the Russians were continuing to aid the Iranian government in their pursuit of their nuclear ambitions, I should say, even though they weren't supposed to be. And that he talks about those connections in there. He talks about, let me see if there's anything else that's important. He talks about how he has video of bribes being received and cash between an American transportation company and Russian executives connected to Rosatom. Anyway, he's got a lot of information. The only crazy thing is none of this was, there's no transcript of what he said. There's no video of what he said. He testified for 4 hours in front of 3 committees, I believe. And this information is being leaked out of what he said, but we don't have any record of what he said, which is really, really strange, I think. Really strange. Because this guy has bombshell information about the Obama campaign and about Hillary Clinton being involved in this Russian uranium takeover scheme, and because he has information about the Clinton Foundation taking money from these guys, they're trying to smear this informant. This was an article actually from Michael Isikoff, who was mentioned in the report, in the memo, actually, of Release the Memo fame. I believe Isikoff is mentioned in there from Yahoo News as being the guy that talked to Christopher Steele and got the information from him and republished what he said. So we think Isikoff is basically deep state or CIA plant. And what he wrote on Yahoo News was a smear piece on this witness. Basically said he got a couple DUIs, and through some sources, the headline reads, "Doubts surface about key witness in uranium-1 probe of Clinton." And it says that he was dropped from the prosecution for one of the cases he basically had all the evidence for, and he provided the evidence for as the government informant, FBI informant. He was not used to testify in that case, and these sources to Isikoff, the writer of the article, say that that's because he was unreliable and that some of the information didn't check out, et cetera, et cetera. And these sources just feed that information to the author of this article. The counterclaim is that he wasn't allowed to testify because he would have testified about stuff that went straight to the Obama White House, and that they were protecting Obama by not putting him on the stand. But this is what we'll expect to see, I guess. The news is so full. This news hardly has a chance to come out right now because of everything else going on with the government shutdown and the stock market. But this was a big day this was a big news story. This guy testifying is a huge deal. It's old news in the sense that we knew about this guy being out there, but he finally testified in front of Congress and told his story about the Clinton Foundation basically taking bribes to sell out our uranium. So that was a big story today. Moving on. I'm going to cover a few more stories, then I'll take calls. It looks like I have enough people tuned in. I haven't taken calls for a while, so we'll do that. In cryptocurrency, I just want to let you guys know, Binance, which I have a link for in my description, Binance is down. Okay, this major cryptocurrency exchange. This is the guy right here you're looking at. He's going to be on the cover of Forbes. Here, let me set this again. From zero to crypto billionaire in under a year. The founder of Binance. They changed the title, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, no, it's still him. This guy, CZ, Changpeng Zhao, worth $1 to $2 billion, is the founder of Binance, this huge trading website, which I recommend, but recommend you be careful with. He was featured in Forbes, and then the middle of the day yesterday, his whole exchange froze. The whole exchange froze for everybody. You can't take money out or anything. And he said, or Binance came out and said it was site maintenance and that it would come back up. They said it would come back up this morning. It didn't come up this morning. They said now it's going to come back up by, I believe it's 4 a.m. UTC, which is 11:30. I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern time that it's supposed to come up. 11 p.m. Eastern time tonight that it's supposed to come back up. So pretty soon, actually. Within a few hours, it's supposed to be back online. It's a major exchange. Oh, this was the news about it, was that McAfee, let me open up Twitter. I won't even talk about deep fakes, I don't think. Let me open up Twitter. If you just put in Binance, I think you get McAfee's tweet. He says they've been hacked, basically. And he's been communicating with them, too. Here's another one. Planned outages are usually announced to the company's user base well in advance. The surprise aspect of yours concerns me. Next, there are screen images, possibly Photoshop from different people that appear to indicate a hack. Do you have a comment? Oh, and they give the address for their public ledger where you can see how much Bitcoin they have. So so people are saying McAfee's kind of crazy. He came out basically and implied this thing was a hack, which is total FUD since it wasn't based on anything, and they seem to have plenty of Bitcoin in their wallet too. So anyway, the markets didn't react to it too bad. What's this? Daily? Here, let me see. Yeah, it's been mostly just flat today. If I had to be a financial advisor, which I'm not, and I had fiat money, which I don't, unless you buy my t-shirts or support me on Patreon, or you can just send me money, by the way, on PayPal. You want to be cool. If I had some, I'd be buying, personally. I was saying last week, I was sketched out, but now, you know what was good? I did a video about it. You really should follow me on Steemit. I wrote an article today and everything. You can see I'm multi-talented. I write articles. I make videos for DTube. I make tutorials for how to have fun on Steemit. I talk about cryptocurrency a lot. That I don't do it on here on YouTube, because on YouTube people aren't as grateful. I'm going to open up the phone. People are more grateful on Steemit. And you would be too if you were there. Everybody's nice there. But it's kind of a ghost town because nobody's making money anymore. This is how crazy cryptocurrency is. Because of Steemit being crypto-based, I was saying in December that if shit stayed this, I said shit. That's not really appropriate. I have to open up the thing. Let's see. What do I do? Make a call? Okay. I forgot what I was talking about. It was important, though. Okay. Hang up. Okay, great. I'm all set up. 650-GAY taxi today. My real number. 650-GAY taxi. Let me put up my Discord chat. Let's see. Oh, no, not that one. Discord invite. There. Discord invite's up. Phone number's up. 650-GAY taxi. 650-429-8294. Thanks for joining me for my later than usual show. We'll see if we have interesting callers today. I don't know. I don't know if I talked about anything people want to call in about. But I haven't taken calls for a while. Today was my solutions show. Did I tell you that? Today is normally my solutions show. The reason I didn't do my show at 111 was because nobody said they could join me. So, or at least pretty much everybody said they couldn't join me. So that's why I didn't show. Anyway, what do you care? This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hi.
Hey.
It's Kruger again.
Hey, what's up?
Pretty good. Want to talk about the stock market crash.
Okay, go ahead. What would you like to say about it?
Now, I came in a bit late, so I don't know if you covered this already, but This is the largest, the deepest crash in what, 100, I don't know how long, but 120 years or something they were saying.
Well, maybe if you measure it in points, but as far as percentage, it's still it's a little over 10% right now from its highs. So it's not anything like, 1987 or anything, when I think it was down, which I think is the biggest single day crash, where it was down like 23% in one day, but it was a much lower point total. But it's pretty significant. I mean, more than 1,000 points, 2 out of the last, what was it, 3 days or 4 days? So what are you thinking?
Well, what I'm thinking is that it was orchestrated. Because that's the thing. I mean, was this just a fluke, or was there some power behind it that made it happen that way? And now we come back to, well, your favorite topic, QAnon.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. QAnon.
Well, QAnon had said that this is a clear message, and the reason why it was the number 666 was because it was a message that the stock market was under their control. And they were trying to say, look, we can do this, and then you got these train crashes all over the place. I mean, how many trains can we have crashing in a month? Like, seriously.
Good question. I had somebody tell me that AI is making all this stuff happen, believe it or not. But it is crazy. We've had like 3 train crashes in a week, apparently.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what's
going on. Did you hear about the takedown in Shanghai yesterday?
What was
the King's Hotel in Shanghai?
No, so I heard Q took a picture from a hotel or something in Shanghai. So what happened in Shanghai?
Right. So this is where the QAnon thing got really exciting, because what we had was QAnon basically doing a live stream of a takedown of one of the elite at a hotel, and basically giving confidence to the public, say, look, things are happening, and here's one example, and here we're showing it to you live. And the pictures were coming in. I actually happened to be on the Q board, excuse me, the Q map at that time, and I saw them come in. It was confusing at first, but then I realized what Q was showing was the window being open, that there was some sort of a blast inside a room where these people had been meeting. So some sort of takedown had occurred. I don't know if they killed them or if they put some sort of sleeping gas, because the Q's exact word was good night. So I don't know if good night meant they're out for good, or if they're just out temporarily.
Do we have any idea who it might have been? I mean, that's such a crazy story. Do we have any idea who might have been involved, or what? And what is the rest? What is the evidence exactly? We have pictures from Q. You said they were coming in live. Of what?
Yeah, there were pictures of the hotel. So
the hotel
a couple of pictures.
The hotel that
this is the King's Hotel in Shanghai.
Okay, all right.
And the pictures were of the parking lot or the lobby, and I believe it was a vehicle coming in. I heard another QAnon analyst think it was somebody walking, but I don't think so. I think it was the actual vehicle, because Q had posted, the last guest has arrived, and then the car rolls in, and then Q posts another picture showing above where the window was open. The window open was afterwards. This was still a closer picture of the hotel saying 2 minutes to go. And then Q posts good night, and then it's a picture of the window that had been slightly opened in order to take care of the pressure from the blast, because otherwise the windows would have been blasted out. So they had actually opened the window beforehand to take care of that, and that's when Q said goodnight.
And so what's the independent verification that something happened? So then where's the story that something happened there? Like,
we don't have that yet. That's why a lot of us are still scratching our heads. Yeah, nobody knows who was there, and I don't think any media is going anywhere close to this quite yet.
Okay.
But the idea was Q was showing an actual op, because I mean, Q has done his verification validating in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
So the confidence is pretty high with Q, with those who are following Q, and we're up to almost 700 posts. So the level of detail is unbelievable.
Interesting. Whenever I go in there and I read the questions that he writes and stuff, I just kind of glaze over. I don't understand where it's going or what the point is. But I didn't see the pictures from Shanghai. I was looking through, I'm in their Discord, and I look through there from time to time. I guess I have to look at the map too. I just don't get much from it when I read it. So I'd be curious if this was really an operation. It's just that a lot of this is interpretation from people who look into Q saying, oh, this is what it shows. But how the hell do we know what it shows? I'll have to look at the pictures and see what it is. But I'm still skeptical. I have to be until we find out that something really did happen, or we start to see some of this deep state get cleaned up, or just start seeing Donald Trump act like he really is as smart as Q says he is. Just haven't seen any evidence of that yet. So.
Well, according to Q, we should see a difference now, because the second last post Q made was that POTUS has been freed. That's huge. So we should see, maybe we'll see a difference in the way media is not attacking POTUS as much, because that's what I would expect. When Q says POTUS is freed, what else did Q say? Yeah, the leverage depleted. So maybe that takedown that happened, I think that the Operation Shanghai was one of many. There's just the one that they happened to live stream, but it certainly wasn't the only one. So there's stuff going on all over the planet.
Well,
but then the last post
go ahead.
It was U.S. Secret Services on high alert.
Right. That's the last post. I don't know. I don't know if the media is going to take it easy for him. He wants to do a military parade. How did the Q supporters feel about that?
A military parade? I haven't heard too much about that. What kind of military parade?
He wants to roll tanks and stuff down the streets of Washington, D.C. Sort of like like you'd picture him doing in North Korea or Russia or China or something. He thinks he was in France with Macron and they did some kind of military parade, and he was like, oh, I want to do one even better than this. But people are giving him a hard time because they're saying the same thing. Like, it seems like an authoritarian regime, something that an authoritarian regime would do, and we're not North Korea and stuff like that. So anyway, you should, and I think the media is going to criticize him for it. So I just wonder about them taking it easy on him. Anyway, I appreciate you calling in and giving the nice Q perspective. It's something for me to think about, and I'll keep looking into it. A lot of people are really into it, still.
Okay, well, check the QAnon map on GitHub, because when you roll over the acronyms, the abbreviations, because that's what really gets confusing, the GitHub map takes care of it for you, resolves it for you. So when you roll over it, it tells you what it is. Okay. So if it says AS and then you roll over it, it says Adam Schiff, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And as far as the military thing goes, when you talk about Trump, you got to realize Trump is military, and I've always seen that. Trump is not a single person. I believe the militaries who had Trump installed, and so if they want to do a parade, it doesn't surprise me at all. Right.
Well, anyway, yeah, Trump says he wants to do it. We'll see. Well, let's see how things go. We'll see how this government shutdown goes too.
Okay. All right,
man. Thanks for the call. All right. See ya.
Bye.
That was a good call. I was hearing some stuff about QAnon. I have fans who are into QAnon. Listeners, I should say. Fans. Whatever you want to call yourselves. If you're a real fan, go to truthclothing.io. I've been wearing that Russian bot shirt. It's really cool. Really cool. I just got a headline here. Australian stock market drops after Dow posts second biggest points fall. The Australian stock market is off 1.7% right now. (650) gay taxi 650-429. Great. Haven't gotten calls for a while. Oh, wow. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hi, how are you? This is Sandy.
Hey, Sandy.
How are you? I was just wondering what your experiences have been being a truther online. Recently I just got into the whole Pizzagate movement and started tweeting about it. And I've gotten, all of a sudden today, I got 1,100 bots following just like one after another. And I'm wondering, is this something that I should expect? Like, trying to expose these people?
Yeah. I got into a lot of trouble with some kind of intelligence unit when I was researching Pizzagate and the Hampstead satanic abuse case.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing, and I'm getting all this crazy harassment. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, it went so far as to actual agents and someone actually, pretending to be my girlfriend who was involved. It was really, really deep stuff.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, and then people and every YouTube channel attacking me and stuff, or at least ones that are tied up in this whatever this network is. But yeah, the trolls and then just watch out for people approaching you. People who try to entrap me. Somebody pretended to be a stalker.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. How long if you've been watching my show a year, starting around a year ago, I got in trouble with Pizzagate. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I did. I've watched a lot of your back episodes. I'm kind of like a recent follower, but yeah, and it's weird because I enjoyed your show with Dee Dee, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like I'm an empath too, and lately I've been waking up in the middle of the night, like panicked with feeling like I'm being psychically attacked. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but I swear to God on my life, like, I'm just like, am I going down the rabbit hole here too much? Like, I'm trying to be a legitimate journalist here, and it's just like,
yeah,
what
no,
the hell is happening?
Yeah, you're probably not imagining things too much. I felt like I was under spiritual attack as well. I had to go through a whole thing where I kind of lost my mind. I was getting trolled so hard. In the end, it wasn't Pizzagate. It was this other story. But I came out the other side. You just have to make sure they have no control over you and just push back with love and ignore. Now I get trolled and I don't even think about it. I don't respond to it. Yeah, you just have to kind of push back with love and realize they can't do anything to your physical. As far as I can tell, it's like a fear thing, and they try to manifest things in your physical world, but they can't actually do that themselves. They can just try to trap you into stuff or goad you into stuff or, psychic attacks. I wouldn't put that past. It's like satanic forces, the people really are a cult, right. It is some kind of a cult thing, and they do believe in these spells and stuff. And they, I think they do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that Luciferian stuff. I mean, I 100% believe it at this point. From all my research, I'm like, this is sick. And I'm going to expose it, so whatever.
Cool.
Keep pressing forward, right?
What's your channel?
Oh, I'm Sandy Whitewater. I don't have a YouTube channel. But
what do you do? Where do you do your, where do you do your stuff?
Oh, it's whitewatertruth.wordpress.com.
whitewatertruth.wordpress.com. Okay, well, we just promoted it for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Make sure you get on.
Doshi for me.
I will. Hey, Doshi. You get on Steam it and then get me to follow you and stuff. That's where you should be blogging for sure. I have a website too. I have a few websites, but Steam it really, you have a blog and then you can get rewarded for it. And people are into Pizzagate and any kind of child sex abuse cases on Steam it. So you'll be surprised. You should really sign up and then make sure that I'm following you. So you can come in the Discord. We have like a Steam It sub chat and stuff, and you can get people to follow you and re-Steam you and stuff. But anyway, you might get more eyeballs than on your WordPress site is the other thing, and get paid for it. So.
Oh, sounds great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all you do. You're awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah,
bye.
Take care.
I am awesome. This is a great show. People are calling. I always get nervous when people call from Utah. I don't know why. Good calls so far. People are interested in calling in. People are interested in the news. It's an interesting time to be alive. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hi, how are y'all?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. I was just listening to your webcast. You're on now?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. I was interested in a previous caller that talked about the takedown they just had, and they were talking about a lady was just talking about she was an empath, and I was interested enough to call. This is the first time I've ever called, and I've only listened to the broadcast a couple of times.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to have you on. What's on your mind? What were you thinking about when you? So, are you interested in QAnon? Is that part of the story when you say the takedown? You mean in Shanghai?
Right. Yeah, I was interested. I'm an empath as well, and I've taken some serious courses. And all my psychic experience has been since a near-death experience. And when I came back, I started, and this was probably the age of 26. I'm now over 50. And it's just amazing to me that I can tune into something that's actually going on. I used to have a object to focus on, and now I don't need the object. And just to mentally focus on something and let it play out like a videotape. So it's like really interesting when they were talking about the subject that I was just feeding in on what was happening. And it popped in my mind of who Q was, but I promised to protect this individual years ago. So until they come out, or if they ever come out, I had a pretty good idea who it was that actually has the finances and the resources to travel to expose this stuff on so say Q. So it was interesting to hear y'all talk about it and be able to express that. I appreciate that platform.
Yeah, and as far as what you're talking about, we might jump between these two topics, Q and then the empath. It sounds like what you can do is some kind of remote viewing. And I had the thing the caller was calling about. If you haven't seen the show, I just had a remote viewer medium or channel, basically channel for extra dimensional or extraterrestrial and the dead. And a lot of people who watch my show think that's crazy, think I should never have people on like that. But like the last caller, I mean, you're kind of in touch with similar things. Is that remote viewing that you're able to do when you talk about focusing?
Yes, yes it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And it wasn't until the last couple of years that I could actually give it a name of what was going on. And I did some practicing a while back on psychometry, which was actually holding objects and telling them, giving the impressions off of them. And that evolved to even dismissing the object or actually being able to hold it, to just focusing on what the object could be or would be, and now it's even involved to individuals, to focus on a particular individual and kind of psychically step into where they are and what they're doing at the time and actually view briefly of what's going on. And I always find that exciting. I never considered it any kind of occult thing. It was just something that evolved and happened to me after an auto accident, and to where I was brought to a place, and it was really, maybe we'll get into that at a different time. I'm really not even discuss that.
Right. Well, I hear that happens. A lot of people find these talents or abilities when they have a near-death experience. That's interesting. And then let me quiz you a little bit about the Q thing. So you said, are you saying something? You also think something went down in Shanghai based on just the Q posts alone?
I'd never seen the Q post. It was from conversation of the previous caller that you just had.
Okay.
And where the window opened,
right,
and who was actually opening the window. And then this particular individual popped into my mind, and he knows the abilities because I've hit him with a couple of times, but the position he's in, he doesn't want to acknowledge, because frankly everybody on this channel would think that he's nuts. Even entertaining these, I say us particular people that have that ability. And it just stuck in my mind. So that impression was really, really strong when he opened that window. And I tried to guess on who it was, or focus in on who it was that they actually took down, and I couldn't really pick up nothing other than it wasn't an American individual. So I don't know any of these. I could picture his face until I ever run across it on the internet. I wouldn't be able to identify him because I've never seen the individual before. Or yes, I have, but I can't place him in any particular name or subject or incident.
Right.
And it was just really strange. It was enough to make me call.
Interesting. And then, since you might know where things are developing, do you think we're starting to see a takedown of elite or of politician?
Yes, for sure. And when I heard the comment mentioned about Q telling these people good night, and the question come up was it a takedown of good night? They were killed, or was it and it was a what do you call those things? A grenade.
Like a stun grenade, or?
Yes. It was one of those that went off, and I saw a flash of thrown in the room, and there were 3 different people in this room, and I focused in on the one, and he was I want to say of Chinese descent, facial, and I've seen him. I just can't place him, and I'll know him when I run across him again. I'll get that when I see him, and I will run across him just messing. And now that I know who I'm looking for,
right. And do you think this is a part of a larger? Because what Q talks about is that there's a larger plan right now. In his case, he says kind of directed by Trump. To take down some of these elite, and that maybe some of the CEOs resigning has been connected to that. Do you have a read on whether that's really happening and whether we're going to
Yes, I believe it's happening. I haven't really started following Q until the last couple of weeks that I've really been paying attention to it, because I love the way he phrases things and tries to let the individuals figure it out. And that's just what I need, because when you focus in on something like that, you can put impressions in there that don't really exist. And, somebody's feeding you something. So the less you know about it, the more the impression comes of what's really happening, instead of somebody else's opinion of what's happening and going off of that. You don't want somebody to tell you a story and then you turn around and give the same story. You can... it's better to get bits and pieces and then let this theoretical videotape play out.
Right.
It's really difficult to explain.
Right. I understand what you're saying. Well, in the case of Q, the people behind it talk about it as the Socratic method, which is more asking questions and getting the person to think about it and come to their own conclusions rather than dictate to them what's what. So that's kind of the theory behind what Q is. Okay, wow. Well, that's a really interesting call. Did you have anything else you want to add?
No, just that it was good to be able to finally express that, because anytime I've ever tried to express that online, they avoid you like the plague, because they don't want to be associated with people like that, or have somebody think that they're thinking in that method. But when you're able to express that, it's like practicing what you preach. And a phrase I use quite often is if you're going to study this, practice this, then you have to trust your gut instinct. And first gut impressions are always correct, and you never doubt yourself on that. And I usually wait from anywhere from 6 to 7 days. If those impressions come true, it'll happen within that time period, beyond the remote viewing.
Oh, it's fascinating. Well, I have a lot of people listening who who are probably getting a lot of what you're saying. People who are interested in how that kind of thing works there on the other side of the veil that the rest of us generally live on. So it's great to have your call and your perspective. I appreciate it. And hopefully you'll call in again.
I was so pleased to hear that just that floor mat was open to express.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, that's one of the things we have here. So yeah, stay tuned. We're open to that kind of stuff.
Okay, I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right, cheers. It's funny. Great call. Awesome. Yeah, we believe in remote viewing. People say it's satanic or fallen angels or whatever. I don't think so. But you can think so. And I don't want to offend you. God forbid. People are calling, leaving voicemails. Wow, it's busy. It's because I get really good phone calls. I should be wearing my Russian bot t-shirt. You should get one. I'm telling you, it's really cool. I made it. I put it on a really nice t-shirt. Spent a lot of money making them. Russian bot. For all you MAGA fans. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Wow. Hello. I've been meaning to call you for a while.
Yeah, you've been trying to get through too. Good. I'm glad you were able to finally get through.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to partner with other YouTubers. I've been watching you for a long time when you had I don't know, maybe 100 subscribers or something like that. And how did you get up to 29,000 now?
Well, I would have more. In fact, I think this channel's broken because I'm not getting subscribers the way I should on this channel. As opposed, I've been on 3 channels over the last 6 months probably. And this was my original channel. I got up to that number of subscribers after about a year and a half, I think. A year and a half maybe. And then that channel started getting hit with strikes, and then it was... this channel started getting hit with strikes, and then eventually it was eliminated. It was, they took it down because I got 3 strikes within 90 days. And then I was able to get one of those strikes appealed, and then the channel reinstated. So, but there's something wrong. I think my channel's marked or something because I got a lot of views in the last few days and not very many subscribers. So I don't know. I'd have to find out if people are having trouble subscribing. People have to report to me. I don't even know how they'd know. But yeah, I just, different videos that went viral. That's pretty much how you get subscribers. And I don't know, but unexpected stuff.
I noticed you did a video with about Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
I've got a Patreon that I did with him that got 17,000 views.
Oh wow!
And I wanted to figure out how to get more subscribers from off of that. I don't know really anything about YouTube, and so yeah, I didn't know if you signed up with other partners or how you got up to 25,000 all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, like I said, it took about a year and a half, and then I had some videos that got 100,000, or when I got 100,000 views, that could be 1,000 subscribers, so every time that happened, so I had a pretty good subscriber rate. People, when they tuned in, subscribed often, and then you kind of have to have videos that you get them in big lumps when you have videos that go viral, because your regular videos, your regular subscribers are watching more often. So that's the trick, and you never know what's going to go viral. And it's better not to try to do that, because that can get you off down the wrong path. But no, I never partnered with anybody. I never bought subs. I have 2 other channels with 5,000 or 6,000 subs each from having to jump around. They would all be here anyway. YouTube is tough. But yeah, you just got to plug away. I don't know. That's the way I did it.
Yeah, I know for a while you were doing some kind of coaching or whatever. I would totally. Video editing makes me bang my head against the wall.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was gonna. Somebody really smart told me because I know how to use this live streaming software really well or pretty well, and and I'm good at doing tutorials. So I started making a few for this, and it probably would make me good money if I were to follow through with it. I just had trouble getting just doing it every day, and I like doing my show more, so I just didn't do it. But I can help. I want to help out with stuff. Come in Discord if you want to talk about it. That's the thing to do.
Okay.
There's a section even for people who want to make stuff. I don't know if I can do. It wasn't going to be on video editing. The thing I was doing, it was on using what I use, which you can use to make video, which I use to make actual videos I put on YouTube too, but live, if you want to do editing, I have a particular kind of software I use that only works on Mac, which I really recommend because it makes editing really easy. But yeah, come in Discord, just ask me questions. I can help you out.
Okay, so I've I've got the program Discord, but I don't know anything about it. How do I find you on there?
Just type in this, if you look on the screen, and somebody will post it in the chat right now, I'm sure too. If you look on the screen for the show right now, you can see the link. If you just type in that link with the upper and lowercase letters, it'll automatically join you to my server, and then you're in, basically. So
okay,
yeah.
And then, I was wondering if you could check out. So, have you watched any of Jordan Peterson's stuff?
Well, I did a live show either a week ago or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think, where I played a lot of pieces from his interview with that woman on British TV on Channel 4, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I played a number of clips from that, and we discussed Jordan Peterson. But the only thing is as soon as that live show was over, it got hit with a copyright strike, so they took it down. And so I ended up reposting it, though, on Steemit, but it ended up getting taken down. So I watched that. I watched that whole interview, and I have watched him before. And I think he talked about, he's into false flags and stuff too. So I'm pretty sure he talked about Charlottesville as well. Am I remembering that right? He's kind of.
I know he's talked about Columbine a lot, and the why he said the kids did that. But
right.
I wanted to say one other thing about. I really admire how I can't remember what you said your mental illness was, but. I'm bipolar. And,
me too. But that's why I'm diagnosed. I don't seem to have, my doctor said I don't really have symptoms of it anymore, but I'm treated. I'm medicated. So
same here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and one other thing. So that's actually how I found Jordan Peterson. He's a clinical psychologist, and he's got this class called Maps of Meaning, and that's how I ended up doing his Patreon. And I never thought I'd be posting anything to YouTube, but I'd love it if you could check out the video I've got with him.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's your YouTube channel?
It's called The New Jones Way.
The New Jones Way. Okay. All right, I'll type that in and go ahead with whatever else you were going to say.
I'd like to do if you like that or whatever. If you think that's good, I'd really like to do video with you at some point.
Okay, well, let me look into it and come into my Discord and get on Steemit too. The New Jones Way, it doesn't come. You're kind of a newer channel, probably.
Oh yeah, big time. So I've only got the one video. I had some other ones on a diet that I do.
Okay.
So what I did is I used the video I did with him to promote a diet book that I've got.
Okay. Cool.
So,
you'd be good on Steam. Yeah, it's hard. I thought selling that Russian bot T-shirt would be easy. It's not, even though everybody loves it. It's not easy to sell stuff. So, but you know what? You'd be good for Steemit, and there are a lot of people who encourage you, and you can make money on there, especially if you do good stuff. So, if anybody finds his channel, sometimes my mods are really good, and go ahead and post his channel link in the chat. And if you find me in Discord, you can post that link also in Discord, or just try to find me in there.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Cool, man. Thanks for the call.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. That was nice. People are cool. Yeah, I should make that. I'm stupid about money. I could do things that, like if I did that, it probably would sell. The person who told me I should do that, just my brain doesn't work. I can do certain things really well, and then other things I'm like, meh. My brain gets stuck on them. Can't do it. But I'm learning. I'm breaking barriers. I'm writing articles. I had trouble writing before. I'm better now. You should read my articles. You should upvote them, re-steam them. Did I tell you I have Doshi stickers too? Have you guys seen the merchandise I sell? I have Doshi stickers. I'll show you. They're cool. I'm telling you, and it's really high quality too. I reduced the price on one of my t-shirts. High quality stickers, I have to tell you. That's at truthclothing.io, everybody. I'm trying to make fiat money. Oh, Steam it? I was in the middle of saying something about it. I'll tell you how crazy it is. I'd say if you're on Steam it, your earnings are down about 80%, at least 80%, I would say, from where it was when things were really good in December. And there were so many people on Steam it when times were good, and now it's like a ghost town. But this is when you got to put in the grind, pick up some new followers, and then when stuff turns around, man, that Steam it can really pay off if you put in work on it and deal with these times, the lean times. But I mean, really, like 80%, I would say, at least, is how much the payouts went down because of the way it's structured and because it's based on cryptocurrency. So that's why we like it when Bitcoin does well, and then when other things do well too. We enjoy it watching the stock market crash. I love it. I don't know what it is. I just love it when the stock market crashes because I'm waiting for it. We've been waiting for so long for something to happen, for this financial reset. It's coming now. Get out the popcorn. We can watch the shit collapse. The fall of Babylon, It's exciting. You know what kind of popcorn is good? Kettle corn. Oh, it's Thursday night. Maybe I can get some kettle corn, some fresh kettle corn at the market. The farmer's market in town. I shouldn't advertise this shirt because I only have small and medium. You know why? Because I made limited edition shirts, signed and stamped and numbered. There are still a few of these left, but only in small and medium. Really nice shirt. Printed in London, of all places. Okay, there was one other person trying to call, so we're just tuning into that person right now, trying to get an image of them in our mind. Let the videotape play out. I see someone watching the show, thinking about calling. I see them looking at their phone. They think I'm about to wrap things up. They're in a delay, about 15 seconds behind. Worried that somebody already covered what they wanted to talk about. I can't remote view, but I believe it. Oh, Doshi woke up. Hey, Doshi. Good show. Somebody said to say hi to you, but I don't remember her name. She was really nice. Okay, it looks like we're maybe done for the day. Great. Well, thanks for joining me for my late show. Let me see if there's anything else going on. Everybody good? Oh, Full-Time Geek says, okay. All right, it's all good. Great. Okay, I'm going to turn off the phone so I don't end the show in the middle of somebody calling. I already shamelessly promoted myself over and over. for you. I do it all for you. That's the thing. I don't mind promoting it because I think you want to show that you support the show. You want to show that you're a Russian bot. Oh man, somebody is trying to call. Do you think it's worth it? It hasn't been an hour and a half yet. I wanted to put in some work for you guys. People think I'm slacking sometimes. Don't tune out yet. We might have another call coming in. Okay. This will be the last call. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hello, it's Sandy again.
Oh, hey, what's up?
How do you know your psychic powers will work with me?
What's going on?
Oh, so I was just going to say about remote viewing, so I have a personal story about that.
Okay.
That affected me, in case I know there's a lot of haters and doubters out there, but so what happened to me was I had this strange urge to join the Catholic Church. I know that's not a popular thing to do, but I came from a Protestant upbringing, and I just had this urge to do it. I felt drawn to this particular church, so I went through the RCIA program and all of that stuff. And then as I'm going through those classes, I start to wake up to a particular presence or a sense of energy, or, you know, when you leave a room and you smell someone's cologne and you're like, it lingers, you're like, you still sense it, sort of. And so this person kept waking me up every morning. I kept feeling that energy. And eventually I put the two and two together. I matched whatever I was sensing, that particular scent, say someone's energy or cologne or whatever, their signature, whatever, to the person at the RCIA program. And I realized that there was someone in that class doing that to me. And so, you know, I had doubts. I was like, oh, I'm crazy. This doesn't happen. How can someone be in my room when they're not physically there? And so I ended up confronting this person, and he looked shocked. And he was like, you could feel that?
Wow.
I was like,
interesting.
I was like, yes. I know it was you, and I wrote down the times every single morning where I felt that happen. He looked through the list. I sat next to him at a bar, and we're both drinking cocktails. He goes, I can't believe you knew I was there the whole time.
How weird.
So, it exists. Trust me.
Story.
Oh, thanks. No, it's
Are you still Catholic?
I recently kind of bowed out
Okay, yeah.
of that situation.
It's kind of satanic, I realize.
Yeah. I'm
the
starting to learn. Mm-hmm.
You know,
So it's all
body
adding up,
and drinking the blood and the altar and all that stuff.
Right.
And then, yeah, it's pretty satanic.
I'm starting to wake up. Yeah, I'm starting to wake up to that. But I mean, he would vouch for it too if anyone wants to ask.
Interesting.
About it.
Oh well, we believe
mean,
it. We don't need more evidence, but it's good for people to hear.
No, it's 100% true. I mean, if you think you're going crazy because you feel a certain thing, or you just get a gut sense. I mean, I believe that God gave us a gut sense about things.
Right. Exactly.
And once you sense that, it's like, stop doubting it.
Yeah, that's what that guy. That's what the other caller said too. Is that your gut instinct is always right. You know.
Right.
So,
that's what God gave us. God gave us an internal compass. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if anyone labels me crazy or whatever. That's just how it is. So,
all right, cool. Thanks, Sandy.
All right.
Thanks for the call.
You're welcome.
Okay, see ya.
Good night. Bye.
Okay, yeah. That was who said hi to you, Doshi. I think it was Sandy. Sandy, people are talking about you because you're making a show right now. He doesn't care. Okay. Thanks for tuning in for my Thursday show. Follow me on Steemit if you want to catch everything I do rather than just some things, including the writing of the articles and the videos and everything else. Everything can be found there. You can upvote me there. You can write your own articles there. You can come and join us on Discord, which I already explained how to do. And what else? What else can I say? What else can I say that hasn't been said today? Let's revel in the excitement of the news of the day. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. That's what it is. I thought that was my Doshi cam. Hold on. Sometimes I'm running outros now on the show. Last show, somebody asked if Doshi was sent to outer space. I'm showing the stock market. Oh, it's just because of the screen. At the same time as Doshi licking himself. It's just off the screen. It's just a slow fade, a fade out. I did it yesterday. I kind of liked it. Gives people a chance to say their goodbyes in the chat. Gives Doshi a chance to lick his belly. Whenever Doshi's on, all people can think about is what happens next. What's he going to do next? I'm still under an hour and a half, so I'd spare some time to see what happens in this scene. We will know if the government is shut down shortly. In fact, I think Rand Paul, they might show the floor of the Senate. They might. Doshi's still being active. Shutdown continue. Oh, no, that's not new. There is a live feed. Nothing happening right now. That's the floor of the Senate. We're about to have a government shutdown, y'all. Okay. I think Doshi, even though he hasn't finished operating yet, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for real. If I did a 24/7 Doshi cam, people are just running Starman right now, which is the Elon Musk car in outer space video. They're running that as if it's live, and they have like 1,000 people tuned in at a time. Have a good night, everybody.